The cave in the forest. Cave is very, very hidden time and in the forest. This is like a somewhat isolated group, not completely and utterly isolated, but they kept to themselves very, very much. This is where home was kind of hidden. The forest, this is where you would go out in the open. These were people that in the night they were more active. In the night they would go out. I wonder if you had anemia or something weird in the family line. There's a pale and pastiness to this energy, that you're not going out very often. You guys were very, very nocturnal. Like in modern times, we would say this is kind of vampire energy, and I don't think it's vampire as much as anemia, and very, very protected, because I think there was a literal paleness to your skin. Like, and here's Mrs. Milky White here, like pasty, I can't get a tan to save my life. There's something that you kept hidden on purpose. There was a weirdness to your culture, really, really weirdness. You have the forest here, and here is this cave echoing right here, right here. It's like also giving me shades of underground as far as the movement, the political aspect, the way that you would do things, the people you would interact with was very selective, very, very tribal, very to itself and tribal. Strange. This is the Paulina deck. Feels almost like a life of an elemental versus the life of a human, almost like fairies and sprites and forest creatures that didn't want to be seen except for at certain times of night. I think this is elemental, like dryads and nymphs and forest creatures like this. Very unusual, uncharted. This is like a fairy royalty coming in. You have fairy nymphs coming in and fairy royalty, but somebody wanting to escape the system. This is when you would take your leave and push the boundaries and borders of things. Now, here you have a lot of family coalescing around you, this tribal family, this organization, right? It's pretty good here. Can they see this well or no? Not so much. I don't know. It's all right. I'm not worried.
You can see it on the record on the
Okay.
iPad.
This is the wanting to leave and push the boundaries. I think you were spotted and seen when you shouldn't have been. It's not the end of the world, but it's this fairy and elemental thing. It's like you wanted so badly to interact with the others, but you I don't know what they call a clan of fairies, but your little tribe of fairies, your clan of fairies, didn't usually let themselves be seen or observed. It was very, very tricky business to do this, a calculated risk to do this. You got yourself grounded at a time or two from this behavior. This overly friendly behavior with the humans was like, no, you're not to be interacting with them. But the overly friendly behavior that you had got you grounded. Like you're in trouble. Grounded like not grounded zen. Like you're in trouble. You were grounded for a long damn time. Like this is a couple of different seasons. This would have felt like at least human terms, a couple of years, maybe 3 years of time where you're grounded, where you can't go to those boundaries anymore. The regulations for you, the rules for you got stricter, stricter, stricter. I think there was some concern where you would actually be seen by the wrong people and invite too much trouble for your clan, for your tribe. There were choices to be made, and the one that was in power was this queen energy, or the female lead energy. She didn't know whether to cut you loose and let you go it, or to let you shift somehow. You had been there, again, 3 years, 3 years. You still had very good close ties and good friendships within your tribe, but you still wanted to be so much on your own. Go out, go beyond where the forest realm was. And she's just very, very undecided about what needs to happen going forward. This is an ally, a friend who says that he would go as guardian to you, but you don't want him along. You're like, no, he'll try and steer my course. This is Knight of Wands energy. He'll try and steer my course, and I don't want to. I think that you, in this energy of her, after being so grounded, you were very clear about what you wanted. You wanted to travel on your own, have your own victory, your own success. You wanted to do it with haste. You wanted to go quickly on the wind. You have the time and season of when the northern lights would show, when Aurora Borealis would show up like this, and this is when you were allowed to go beyond the borders, beyond the boundaries, because everybody would be looking up at the sky, and you would be traveling more below the canopy of the forest. You'd be able to travel towards the edges, to sneak and spy on the humans, to get closer and see what was going on there. You were stealth, very stealth. You saw their pain, you observed their pain. I think you wanted a human experience, and it's surprising because a lot from the tribe would not want that in a million years. They would think it lesser. I'm getting Froud's fairies all through here. Sprites, dryads, forest fairies. I don't have Froud's fairy deck, but if you look up, I think it's Brian Froud. I think that's F-R, maybe O-U-D. I'm not sure if that's right, but I think it's Froud's fairies. That's what I'm getting through here. The trickster fairies, that element. You saw this painfulness of the human condition. I don't think you went for it. I think you understood a little bit more. Your devoted heart was more at home than you knew, but you didn't know it until you were quite a bit older. In this particular life, I think you had the ability to shift into another, like, what do they call that? A walk-in? You had the ability to do a walk-in situation. For those of you that might not know, the walk-in is if somebody has a near-death experience and the person that actually is supposed to die, somebody else that's the spirit that needs to finish some of their lessons, comes walking in and takes that on to learn the lessons of a similar style. I think there was an opportunity for that and you decided no. And this is when you grew into more of an acceptance of, yes, completing the life as the forest fairy, the nymph, the dryad, call it what you will. The sprite. Yeah. Yeah, you did your time in the fairyland and it was just fine. So that the opportunity that came that she, the fairy queen, would have seen a long time ago, she saw it and the opportunity came and presented, but you let this person just go. You chose not to walk in. You opted to stay where you were. The end of your longing to be human was there, and it was arranged in such that deals were cut between the fairies, between them and the other realms. There's another. The northern lights were hugely important. You saw things happening. It's almost like you saw things happening that were sky things. The sky beings you saw, this is where there was an influence, like a little bit of starseed influence coming in. Alien, foreign to what was grounded. You would go blipping and, I want to say blipping and blapping, but you're flitting around the forest floor beneath the canopy. You happen to observe something on the northern lights thing. When things are thin, things are going on. This is when you saw and glimpsed the prince, and this is something you saw and glimpsed. It's why you stayed behind. It's something that made you stay behind and enjoy things a little bit more in your existence here. You got the Knight of Swords, the Nine of Rods. We'll leave it at that way so I don't get thrown off of YouTube. This was very alien stuff. You knew that you could cut a deal otherwise because you saw that there's more to the world going on than just forest creatures, than forest people and nymphs and forest sprites. There's more kinds of creatures than forest sprites and humans. There's also these sky creatures. Now, these sky creatures, I don't know if they're aliens, starseeds, or if they're just you seeing the humans that are going to be coming down soon and wanting a little taste of that. Definitely the upper realms. You saw behind the veil. You saw things that you wouldn't usually see. It was an accidental glimpsing that made you happy. You saw beyond the veil. You saw where one lifetime would lead into another, and you knew that you were hung up in this one for a little bit, but there would be great love. What had turned you off in the human life before, what was painful and could be excruciating, was suddenly now exquisite to you and desirable. You didn't want to go off planet too much. You wanted the human experience. You didn't want to go all the way full on starseed, even if you've been one in years and years before, in light years and light years prior. This is where you decided, yeah, you'll go for a human experience. So the machine was put into play, and so the story came, and there was a deal cut. A deal cut with the fairy queen of the realm and somebody that had higher authority, higher in chargeness over many of the species that are here on the planet Earth. The machinery was put into motion. The plan was set into motion. It's like, okay, we can do this. Yeah, this one could handle it. Could you handle it? Would it be just and fair to you for your spirit's journey into light and lessons to go into a human form after being in this? You wouldn't remember much of this, but you would be drawn towards fairy stories, drawn towards fairies, elementals and sprites, drawn towards Aurora Borealis, knowing there had been joy in that. This watery energy, yes, you could do it. It was like you almost applied for a permission slip to do this, and yeah. The temptation would be great. The heaviness would be great. The loss of the ability to move around in the way you did in the unseen world would cause a little bit of sorrow. There'll be illumination on this in its own time, in its own soul growth time. Because of the opportunity for soul growth that was here, the decision to, yes, approve this permission slip, so to speak, was given. But you would feel a big loneliness. Part of your tribe, part of your soul tribe wouldn't be here with you, and you would feel that separation. The big love, the big water energy, the fluid energy between here and this other realm would be there present a lot of the time. Clarity wouldn't come until later in life on this, and it would come at a price. You knew there would be a price. This is the Ace of Swords, the king and queen of the swords, the authority, the feeling of the matriarchal energy that was in your tribe versus the decisions being made in the upper realms, ascended master, starseed, call it what you will, cosmic decisions. You knew this would be a tricky one. You were still called to do it anyway. You wanted the independent earth experience, regardless of whether, you could do a different path in the tribe. You wanted the earth experience. So you broke away from what was tribe, and instead of opting for another life as fairy sprite or dryad or nymph or force, whatever flitty flit creature, you decide, okay, I'm going human. It's a clear and consequential choice. It's not easy to go back into the reverse realm, because the human form carries more weight with it, more darkness, more substance in the form. So it slows things down. You knew it would be slowed. Fluid, but slowed. This is the journeying across through there. You saw a lot. You got like a sneak peek preview of a lot of things. You could see some of the difficulty that would be there. Feels like there was a ceremonial enforcement of strength reinforcement given by these, and some of these as well. There's an ambitious task that you took on. Ambitious. This is strength here. It's showing up in the Thoth way, but it's a woman riding the lion. Really, really being very strongly led into this. There would be at least four. You would leave here, you'd go human form at least 4 times. It was not something you could just opt in for one quick flash in the pan. 4 independent times of earth life. This is walking past, growing very, very old. And this fluidity, it's almost like before you could catch the drift, the cosmic spin of things to shift into a different form other than human, you would need at least 4 very solid, slow human terms. Then you would be allowed to shift. Then you would have experienced more of the cosmic seasons. Like we would see the wheel of the year, there's cosmic seasons that are bigger, astrologically bigger. Anything else? There would come a time where you would have established and attained and acquired the material lessons, skills, the wealth of being, the understanding of humanness in both aspects of it, that you would be able to rise to your higher self. There would become this time. Now, to me, it doesn't feel like you're in your 4th life version of this yet. No. And it could be that there's many more, but I get 4 in this thing of the wheel to achieve the wheel. There's fluidity that needs to come. There's holding your own that needs to come. And there's still a season and a cycle and learnings on this. You might be halfway done with your coursework. If 4 is the number I assign, you'd be like 2 there. You'd be halfway done with the human coursework in this particular form before you could take another one. Before you could shift into a different type to experience earth lessons from a different perspective altogether. Is there anything beyond this? The temperance and the judgment are coming in strong. This is something, again, start noticing those northern lights, what's going on in your world when that time of year happens. There's observations to be made. There's reassurances to be made. There's promises that are made from the other side that you will feel. Whether you'll be able to even clearly articulate them, I don't know. But there will be recognitions of things. That's when the fluidness happens for you. That's what I've got for you. That's complete. It doesn't want me to go further than this. That's complete. It's not letting me go further. That's bizarre. Fascinating. I don't think I've ever had that one come through. Any form of that. Wow. Yeah, that's complete. Who knew? I'm going to have to look up what is Froude's Fairies. Wow. I might have to get a Froude's Fairy deck. Is there such a thing? There's got to be, right? Why do I know this? Why do I know this? There is, and that's a weird, weird name. Okay. Yeah. No more talking, no more chirp chirp, but you can watch the birds too. They will tell you things. Yeah, that's complete.